Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to game number 2 between KiwiKaki and Vibe. I don't know if I'm going to call this game number 2 or not because it wasn't actually a series, it was just separate games played between the mad nutty professor himself, KiwiKaki, and Gosu's Vibe. So I don't know what I'm going to call this. I know I'm going to call the last game Mini Gate though. That's a great name for that game. So if you guys haven't checked it out yet, make sure to check out the first game between KiwiKaki and Vibe. I'm just going to summarize that game with the following phrase. That is many gates. Yes? So hopefully you guys check it out. And this is going to be the next one between Kiwi and Vibe. Kiwi has spawned on the top right of Antigua Shipyard. New map in the pool for the last couple of months. A lot of players are kind of taking to it. They do enjoy it. Gosu Vibe is going to be in the bottom left-hand corner. I do believe this is the version that forces cross-spawn as well. Because on this map particularly, if you don't force cross-spawn and you spawn close, then it's extremely imbalanced. If a Protoss player, for example, spawns here and then Vibe, for example, were to spawn over here, then of course Vibe would have very easy access into the third. The third is where it becomes very difficult if you spawn close by your opponent. So they do have cross spawn right here. That's going to definitely help in terms of a long macro game and making things a little bit more stable and less volatile. So there's a spawning pool going up for Vibe. Vibe wants to go ahead and get that pool down. Pretty common. Unlike the other game that we saw with Nesty and Naniwar, when Nesty said, you know what, I'm going to go back to 8 months in the past, chrono boost myself in time, and I'm going to go ahead and throw a hatchery down because I think I can do it. You know, for the longest time, Zergs were able to 14 or 15 hatch against Protoss. We did it all the time until Protoss players suddenly put 2 and 2 together and they decided, you know what, if I'm Forge fast expanding, why can't I throw cannons up at the natural? And Protoss players got better and better at it, and then all of a sudden Zergs was like, you know, we give up. Zergs give up. We cannot do it anymore. And so now we've totally changed our builds, and now we have to go with the spawning pool first. So that's a little bit of a brief introduction to the history of Starcraft 2 for you guys. Kiwi now is going to go ahead and harass with that probe. Oh, I don't know how that hatchery came down. Squeezed itself in there between the probe as it was making circles. So Kiwi can't be too happy about that. Did Kiwi just say wee wee? He did not just say wee wee. How do I bring up the message bar? He did say wee wee. So that means yes in French. Of course, Kiwi is French. So that's good. Always good to bring back your native language. And looks like Kiwi gonna go ahead and throw up his gateway at the front door here. Has a cannon coming down behind the gate. Has a pylon at the front. He will probably seal that off with the cybernetics core, or he could go for the double gate opening that Kiwi is so famous for. And a lot of casters now are calling that the Kiwi build. When he opens up with 2 gates and then he makes zealots and he pushes out and then he goes into Stargate. He had a modified Kiwi build in the last game on Shack Plateau. He decided to just go for 1 gate and deceptively play out his opponent. And it worked out really well, actually. That was just really smart play. And, is Kiwi doing the same thing again? Why not? If it works once, it ain't broke, don't fix it. And the Zergling gets in there. That was pretty huge. Now, Vibe failed to this build in the last game. This time, though, he gets a scout on the single gateway, but more importantly, he got a scout on the chrono boost going down on that gateway. And, I mean, assuming, of course, that Vibe was paying attention to the Zergling. I think he was, because he did select that Zergling as it died. So, since he saw that chrono boost, he should be prepared for that zealot push that will come out to destroy the third hatchery. I would assume so. Gosu Vibe also gonna assume so. I think he's just saying this about the cross spawn of the map, though. MLG forcing cross spawn on this map, obviously. So here comes the chrono boost going down on the gateway. He is probably going to wait for 4 zealots here. Same exact identical build coming out of KiwiKaki. Has cannons in the background as well. Most likely when he pushes out with those zealots, he will seal this off with the building. The Zergling gets a scout on those 3 zealots, and that's a pretty early time for zealots. And they're all moving out right now. So, you know, Vibe fixing up his game plan from the last game, adapting. That's the nature of StarCraft 2. It's also the nature of poker when you think about it. But Vibe is adapting, and he's just starting to get Zerglings out right now. And I think that Vibe should be okay. It would be prudent of him to make more Zerglings than just 6, though. He has a couple more on the way. There we go. He's got 10 more. So he's got 16 Zerglings. He should be okay. Gonna try to distract Kiwi a little bit. I think he was trying to pick off the trailing Zealot there. But unfortunately for him, that ball has conglomerated. Oh, the Zealot coming back. He might be able to pick off the trailing Zealot. Will he be able to get it? Yes, he will. And he does not force the situation as the Zealots come back to save their brother in arms. So KiwiKaki gonna go ahead and move right into this hatchery. A Spinecrawler going down for Gosu Vibe. Will Vibe be able to hold on? Well, there is one probe in the mix as well. Interestingly enough, the 16 Zerglings are now here. Now, a little bit of stutter step micro from KiwiKaki as he does the Zealot dance. He's trying to find himself in between the hatchery and the crawler, but the Zerglings get a pretty good surround here. But another Zealot comes in for KiwiKaki, and he cleans up with 2 Zealots in the red. Those 2 Zealots are so close to dying. Vibe has got to kill those Zealots before they regenerate their shields. It looks like the crawler was canceled, and Vibe was able to kill off the Zealots that were in the red. That was pretty close right there. If he had waited any longer, then the shields would have begun to regenerate, and essentially then Vibe's got 4 fresh Zealots to deal with. So Vibe, I think, handled that situation pretty well. I would argue he might not need this crawler now. He could probably cancel it just to get a little bit of money back and get that drone back in action. But maybe he's going to play safe rather than sorry. And of course, he can always move that Spinecrawler to the middle of the field in the mid game. Now, Vibe does have quite a few Zerglings on the map, and look at the economy for KiwiKaki, 45 over 40. So Kiwi's been joining up pretty hard. Oh my god, but Vibe finds a way to get in. No, he will not. That force field goes down. So it looks like Vibe kills off the probe and then runs away. You know, Vibe is just trying to do some good with the Zerglings he's got on the map. It makes a lot of sense because Zerglings at this stage in the game, it's almost impossible to run by the frontal wall. And, you know, this is a shining example of Vibe trying to run by the front wall, but unable to do so. And Kiwi's just all over that. So I think both players pretty even in economy right now, but Vibe is a little bit behind in terms of overall game sense. Just doesn't have that much going for him. And oh my god, we have the Gateway Master has returned, ladies and gentlemen. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 gates coming up and a robotics facility. And it looks like Vibe's Overlord scouts the gateway. So Vibe does get the crucial scout he needs to see everything. But, oh, we have a robotics support bay coming up. Is Kiwi gonna switch it up now that his gateways have been scouted? I think that's what he's trying to do. Now that his gateways have been scouted, he's just gonna try to go into a Colossus play. But the question I want to answer is, oh, Vibe never actually saw the 3 gateways down here, so Vibe probably thinks it's 5-gate robo at this point because he only saw 5 gates and the robotics facility. But then why is Kiwi going into a robotics support bay? That doesn't make any sense to me, unless Kiwi thinks that the Overlords did see all 8 gateways. If that's the case, then I guess it makes sense for Kiwi to try to switch things up and play that deceptive poker style that he's so good at, which is basically, rather than 8 gating with, you know, +1 and +2, or +1 and +1 it looks like, then he's going to go right into Colossus. So that's a switch up there for you guys from KiwiKaki. He's classic at that. And oh wow, we have a Warp Prism down in the bottom right. So a Warp Prism did sneak its way in. And let's see what kind of damage Kiwi can get in with this Warp Prism here. Kiwi just bringing in a Warp Prism. Unexpected play. And it looks like he's going to get some drone kills here at the very least. Very nice position from KiwiKaki, just kind of backing himself up into that wall, but the Roaches will get the surround and the drones as well. 10 workers have gone down so far, and I'm surprised Kiwi isn't pulling his Stalkers out of there. What's he waiting for? Finally picks up 2 Stalkers, and he'll get out of there, but he could have saved a lot more units. So that Warp Prism coming in, luckily I was able to catch it at the very edge of my vision and show that. So Kiwi going for Warp Prism and he's going for Colossus. I mean, I was just so distracted by the build from KiwiKaki. Why would you go for a robotics and a Colossus? You're essentially, the Protoss here is trying to go with 8 gate and he's trying to go with a Colossus play. That's pretty insane off of 2 bases, and he's just out grabbing the 3rd, but Kiwi is just a madman. He's insane. His Protoss versus Zerg builds are some of the best I've ever seen, and I don't know if it's good or it's just like WTF. So here he comes with the Warp Prism again. He does have quite a few Stalkers, a couple of Zealots as well. Drops off the Zealots first to distract, and now he's going to go ahead and warp in. Wow, he's going to commit to this, warping in quite a few units, but the Warp Prism is going down. The Warp Prism cancels, and it will get out of there. So Kiwi decides, you know what, I don't want to lose the Warp Prism, not worth it. He will pick up his forces, and he's going to get out of there with the Warp Prism intact. How many workers have gone down this game? 10 workers. Economy showing that Vibe is on top right now, so he has been joining up pretty hard. But Vibe is going to want to grab a 4th base pretty soon because KiwiKaki is on 3 bases right now. And I still don't know why Kiwi went with this, you know, with the 8 gates first and then into the robotics facility, because he hasn't made use of the 8 gates at all. At no point in this game has he really made use of the 8 gate. Traditionally, Protoss players get 8 gates because they're going to go with an 8 gate bum rush. But Kiwi decided to change his plans up and go for the robotics facility. The only thing that makes sense to me is if Kiwi assumed that all the gates were scouted by that single overlord and he was trying to switch up his playstyle. That's the only thing that really makes sense to me. But, you know, at the very least, pretty interesting game to start things off. You know, I think Vibe has certainly settled down a little bit. In fact, he's going to go ahead and grab the gold here. Not bad. And oh, Baneling's coming out. Do we have a blast from the past here? Vibe is going to go with the Roach Overlord Baneling Bomb here. And this was a strategy that was pretty predominant months ago. It's actually really, really good because you can be effective with drops at the same time inside the main. And you don't have to drop Roaches. You can actually drop Banelings right inside the mineral line. But your core army is composed of Roaches and Banelings. But look at this! KiwiKaki drops a Colossus down in the bottom here. There is so many things going on in this game, guys. This is insane. So many switch-ups from both players. And now Kiwi, he sees the Roaches, he sees the Banelings, so this has effectively served itself as a scout, and Kiwi now knows exactly what Vibe is doing. He's going for the Roach Baneling Bomb, and he drops off the Colossus for a bit of a laser shot here. Both players are going for drops. This is incredible. Both players are going for drop tactics, and Vibe, seeing that KiwiKaki went for the Warp Prism and the Fast Colossus, knows that he has a lot more forces on the ground right now, and he can make an attack, and it looks like Vibe is going to go just for that. He's going to try to go for an assault here. KiwiKaki coming in, and a drop inside the main of the Protoss player. It looks like Vibe going to go ahead and drop some Roaches off inside the mineral field. The KiwiKaki's Colossus comes back, and he drops off. It looks like the Colossus will be able to clean that up. Meanwhile, though, looks like Vibe gonna try to force his way down the Protoss player's throat. I don't know if this is really the smartest play unless he can get all these Banelings off, and the Banelings are going down. Oh my god, the Banelings are dropping off all amongst the sentries. The Colossus comes back in the Warp Prism from the main. Will Kiwi be able to hold here? He's got 4 Colossus here, and the Roaches all being strangled into that little choke point. It looks like, despite Vibe killing off a horde of sentries, and they are very high gas intensive units, despite that he was unable to break the front door as KiwiKaki has just too many Colossus. Now it looks like Vibe gonna go ahead and drop right into the main of the Protoss player with quite a few Zerglings here, but I don't know if this is gonna work because of course KiwiKaki can just walk his Colossus up the ramp, up the wall, and then he can kill off all of these Zerglings pretty easily. In fact, he's warped in some Stalkers and Sentries as well. So the Overlord play will be diverted. Meanwhile, KiwiKaki coming back over with this Colossus that has 10 kills. This Colossus, it's almost like a throwback to Reaver Shuttle Micro in Starcraft Brood War. Back in the days, Protoss players didn't have a Colossus. They had to make do with a Reaver and a Shuttle. And essentially, the Colossus replaced the Reaver, and the Shuttle replaced the Warp Prism. And that's what we're seeing here. KiwiKaki going for a Reaver Shuttle play. He just got about 5 or 6 drone kills, and the Roaches came in and he picked up the Colossus. Really good micro right there. Now, Vibe dropping off his Zergling payload and is immediately going to morph him all into Banelings. It looks like Vibe's got something cooking up here. He's going to try to drop a bunch of Banelings off in the main, and KiwiKaki still harassing with this Warp Prism micro. This is a great game of StarCraft 2. Just a throwback really to the old playstyles. It looks like Kiwi going to go ahead and pull that out of there. So the Warp Prism is going to go ahead and move around the map and just find an open point to attack with. But looks like Vibe going to go in with the 4 Banelings. Is Kiwi paying attention while he's microing and macroing all across the map? It doesn't look like he is. And the probes are going to go down. Oh my god! All those probes eating the dust, but somehow, some way, about 8 probes surviving with 1 HP. That was just a luck draw right there. A luck draw for KiwiKaki, I tell you. Now KiwiKaki is pushing and assaulting the gold in the middle of the map. He's got great range with these Colossus. He just roasted up a bunch of drones right there. And 4 Colossus are spreading their load on that hatchery. It looks like Kiwi comes back in once again with this 22 kill Colossus. And unfortunately for Vibe, he's just not got enough units to deal with that. Now he's going to go ahead and load up some Banelings. He's going to try to catch his army in the middle of the map. Will he be able to get the Colossus are left behind because the Stalkers blink away? The Banelings, will they be able to hit their mark? They drop all over the Stalkers and the Colossus. really whittling their shields down, but Kiwi survives. He blinks out of there. Meanwhile, this Colossus is still getting kills. It's got 33 kills already. No response from Vibe. Vibe is just going to go for the all-out counterattack, but I don't think he can break the front door here with all these cannons and all these Stalkers. The Stalkers have 2 weapons and 1 armor. The Roaches have 2 weapons, so fairly even upgrades, but it doesn't look like Vibe's got enough, and this Colossus, unbelievable. Its 34th kill could actually be the hatchery. It doesn't look like Vibe's got anything to deal with it. All of his forces are abroad, and he's pulling them all back right now to kill off that Colossus. The Colossus is gonna get the kill. It gets the kill, and the Colossus is saved. Kiwi saves the Colossus at the very last second. Unbelievable save by KiwiKaki. I am actually running out of breath right now. I cannot believe KiwiKaki saved that Colossus with maybe 5 or 10 HP intact total, and of course now that's inside the Warp Prism, its shields will begin to regenerate, as is shown by that blue outline. The darker and deeper that blue is, that hue of blue, the stronger the Colossus shields are. And there you guys see the Colossus being dropped off again. He is relentless in this in this Colossus drop. He will pick it up after getting more kills. Beautiful plays. KiwiKaki is running the map right now, and every time Vibe tries to slam into KiwiKaki, it just doesn't work. Now, you know, he cannot slam into a Protoss player that's in this kind of position. It's like a valley right here of death for all the Zerg forces in the middle of the field. Now, Kiwi is pushing into the gold. He was able to take it out. He's got a very large Stalker Colossus ball. KiwiKaki also going to try to drop once again into the back of this hatchery. He's been doing a pretty good job of that so far. Is he going to go for the drop? It looks like, oh, he's going to warp in some units first to clear the drop zone, and then he's going to drop the Colossus off. That's really smart. You almost forget that the Warp Prism can warp in reinforcements, and now this Colossus, now that the LZ has been cleared, it can go ahead and get the green code for landing, and there it is. So the Colossus drops off, and it begins to laser the drones on the extractor. That's really annoying for Vibe, because Vibe is going to have to put more drones on those extractors, and more units warping in. He saves the Colossus as it was going to go down. He picks it up, drops it back down. In the meantime, also attacking into the bottom right expansion. Aggressive blink forward. It looks like Vibe is just falling apart, ladies and gentlemen. He just doesn't know where to attack or where to defend. And he's going to lose not only the top left expansion, but also the bottom right expansion. KiwiKaki is all over the place. It looks like Vibe was able to save up for Broodlords though, so he does have some Broodlords on the map, and he's got a pretty good composition here. Is it going to be enough to destroy this army? I don't know. Actually, looks like KiwiKaki just busted himself an exit there. Some of his forces getting fungled, but I think Kiwi should be able to get out of here with a pretty big W under his belt. In terms of killing off 2 hatcheries. Now the Zerg is only on 2 bases. And you know, Vibe is just going to be forced into an all-in situation with his Roaches, his Infestors, and his Broodlords. Is it going to be enough? We'll have to see. It looks like the Warp Prism has unloaded that Colossus. 46 kills on that Colossus. Man, that is insane. And plus 3 weapons, it's no joke. It does 42 damage per lance of its lasers. Uh-oh. Oh no, it looks like Kiwi may end up losing some probes here though. At least the Nexus will be spotted, but I think Vibe realized at this point he cannot leave his Broodlords alone, and he's just got to go all in, into the base. He can't afford to waste his time picking off external bases, and it looks like here's a big engagement we've been waiting for. Fungal goes down, but all the Broodlords getting popped off by the Stalkers below. The Stalkers have so much firepower, and goes to Vibe GG's. KiwiKaki takes this game against Vibe once again. Beautiful play, and pretty much just Colossus dropping the entire game and paving his way for a victory. I hope you guys enjoyed that broadcast as much as I did. If you guys did, make sure to check me out on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter at HDStarcraft. And more videos will be coming out soon. After this, I will be doing my Failcraft video. What is this? A retarded laser lance? This is like a Colossus that never made its way out of the Colossus Academy. Oh no, it's okay. He is the Elder Colossus. He's just a little old. It's okay. He did his duty in this game. 55 kills. Congratulations, good sir. Congratulations. Anyways, guys, this is HD, signing out.